Hey, Betty. Ready to go check the bees? Let's head on out. All right, you can see my beehives out there, buried in the snow. We're gonna see if we can dig our way back there. It has been a crazy winter. I think we have 4 feet on the ground and then just huge piles everywhere else, so it's pretty crazy. You can see my camper back there. It's buried up to the tail lights and about 3 feet on top of it, maybe 4 feet. So we're gonna go check the hives, and I'm gonna give you a rundown on what I've learned. I'm pretty sure both hives are dead, but it's just been so cold and they keep getting buried by snow, and I go out there and take them out and buried by snow. So I'll get out there and then give you some updates. I'm standing about 18 inches above my 6-foot fence. So I think I'm just gonna hop the gate. Oh shoot, this is pulled apart here. That's not good. Got some warping going on these boards. It snapped the screw they put in there. That's not good. All right, maybe I'll dig this out. Okay, I dug these out. There's a bug. I don't know what he's up to. I saw one dead bee on this shelf, which surprised me because this has been buried. I just noticed. So it's probably been buried for days. I listened on both of these hives about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't hear the buzzing I normally could hear. It was never very loud because I have this thick foam around it. But I'm assuming that neither hive survived. We had negatives and 0 degrees all winter. It just kept getting buried. I'd come and dig it out, buried, I'd come and dig it out. And so I don't know that they survived. There's like a 50% survival rate in Wyoming anyway. At least that's what I read online. So I thought I'd do some updates, or do kind of like what I've learned this year. I've learned in my first year of beekeeping that beekeeping is unpredictable. I mean, veterans and really savvy people that understand how to do it kind of can get a rhythm down and their procedures down, and they can make it more predictable. But for a first time learning, you're like, oh, I'll do this, this, and this, like they said in the video, and then these things will happen and everything will be great. Well, there's little tangents or twists and turns, and you do this, and all of a sudden this happens. You're like, what? And you go and watch some videos and read and talk to people, and they're like, oh yeah, that's because of this, or sometimes this just happens. And then you start doing other things, and it's just kind of like this crazy thing. And so you have to accept that it's gonna be unpredictable. Hang on, my shoulder's getting sore. Okay, I'm gonna try to use my other arm. I was doing some electrical work and I had my arms up for a long time this morning, and now I'm kind of in a little bit of pain. So if you can accept the unpredictability and that there's gonna be twists and turns, it makes it a lot more manageable. Also, I think I learned that in the super cold climates like where I'm at, you've gotta get your hives, if you're just starting them out, don't place them when it's too darn cold, or they'll just struggle right out of the gates. And that's what happened to me. I think I need to learn to use pollen supplements earlier here in the late spring, early summer, because the pollen just hasn't produced, or the nectar flows. I don't know when those are during the summer, so I didn't know when to make the adjustments for that, when they're really going to be pulling nectar and building a crazy amount of honey. I noticed that one hive started creating a whole bunch of queens at some point, and I should have done some type of intervention, but someone convinced me just to to let it go and to see what happened. But I knew what was going to happen. They were going to swarm, and they did. And so my already small hive went down to even smaller, and that's this single box here. And I just didn't think they'd be strong enough to get through the winter. I had hoped that this really strong hive would. This is the one that the queen stopped laying, so I thought she was dead for like 3 or 4 weeks. So I went and bought a new queen, put one in there, and I didn't notice that they'd created any queen cells in the meantime. And then 2 weeks later, the queen I bought is still in her cage, and there's brood everywhere. So a queen started laying in there. So I don't know what happened there, but they seemed to recover and get really strong. So I had 2 brood boxes on here, a whole bunch of honey. I put the sugar on top of both hives. But this big one, I never did see a lot of dead bees brought out onto the shelf or hear good, strong buzzing like I thought I would from a good hive. And I don't know. So, what else have I learned? So I guess I learned for sure I would have 2 hives because I saw them doing totally different things, and it was pretty cool to learn all those lessons and to see what they were doing differently. And just to go back, maybe learn or ask around better when the nectar flows tend to be in your area, because I didn't really know what to do when that prime time was happening, and I was just kind of letting things roll along. I probably should have done a better job there of adjusting the hives or placing a honey super on top so they had room to build out the honey better. Another thing I learned is I had the opportunity to buy some used frames that already had the comb built out on it, and the bees, even if the comb looks really junky, they will go in there and repair it just like that. I noticed that when I anyway, that's what they'll do. And I should have bought those because my bees just getting going, stumbling around a bit during the summer with that swarm, and then that queen not laying for a while, they had to put so much energy into building the comb out and then putting honey in, that I think I just kept my hives in kind of a weakened state all summer. And our summers here in Star Valley are so short, and then you get buried in snow, that I should have bought all those when I had the opportunity from a guy that was just being done with beekeeping. I should have bought all of his frames that had all the comb all built out and thrown those in with my hives that I got started. The plus side is I will now have a whole bunch of frames with comb built out on them, so that when I buy 2 new sets of bees this spring or early summer, I'll throw them in there with them, and they should have a head start. And I'm hoping they just zoom through summer and really build things out and stay healthy and strong. I also learned that I'm assuming I wrapped them in foam, these both hives, which I like. I did not, and I put a sugar thing on top so they'd have plenty of sugar if they needed it sometime in the winter to eat on, but I did not put like a quilt on top, and I only have a couple of small vent holes, and I just don't think there was enough circulation of air in there to keep the moisture down. And so I'm wondering if they died just because of the moisture content in there, that it got too high. So next year what I'm going to do is build a box, and I'm going to put a quilt. It's like you can put wood shavings in a pillowcase, put that in on top with some screening underneath it so that moisture can collect in that pillowcase. They call it a quilt, up on top, and then the sugar on the bottom. Have more vent holes so that the airflow can cycle, and I think that will help them considerably, and they'll have more of their own honey stores, and I'm hoping, if things go well next summer, so they'll just be a stronger, healthier set of hives. we'll see. What else have I learned? I learned that it is much more expensive to keep bees, especially if you buy all your equipment new and somebody doesn't give it all to you. And then somewhere along the way, you're going to be like, you know what? I don't just want one hive. I want two. And then somewhere along the way, you're going to say, you know what? I like this base better than the other base. And so I buy that. You know what? I like this beekeeper's hat better than this one. And just little things like that start to add up. And so what I thought would just be a few $100 turned into like $700 or $800, especially because I had to buy 2 batches of bees to get going, and it was like 150 each. So veteran beekeepers kind of have their own equipment, or they'll buy a used from somebody, and so they keep their costs down once you get rolling. Like going into this spring and summer, I will only have to buy I think I'm going to buy one base that has a screened bottom, because I think I like that better than just a flat wood bottom. And and then I just need to buy, assuming these are not alive, 2 batches of bees. So it'll be, a few $100s there right out of the gates. But after that, I have all of my equipment in my shop, and I should be fine. And I think the last thing I've learned is I need to figure out a way to put the beehives somewhere where I can get to them easier than just having to climb waist deep through the snow. It is a chore getting back out in here. This summer, actually, we own this half acre behind us. We're gonna build a home on there and move into that sometime next winter. So I'm gonna take these hives out, because we're gonna sell this house, and put them in my backyard. And I think I'm going to put them right off the house where I can use a snowblower to keep a path out to them going. And that way I can access them better. It's funny, the base of these, the bottom right now is, I built that platform, and it's probably a good 15 inches off the ground. And then the snow was piled up another few feet. And so it was a pain trying to get out here all the time in the blowing snow. It just seemed to snow every day for months. Even if it was just a couple inches, I'd want to come out here and clean off the platforms. And it was just it was not just a hassle, it was just too much. So I got to create a better way to get back out to these in the winter. Anyway, that was kind of a long-winded deal. If you've been watching all my videos, it's been fun and fascinating. They're really interesting creatures, and kind of a low maintenance pet other than having to keep them clear during the winter here in our deep snows. But I think it's a cool thing to do, and hopefully, I heard a couple of you families out there had bought bees, and you were keeping them last summer, or you're going to start this summer or something like that. You bought the equipment. I can't remember what you told me, but that's pretty cool. I hope some of you feel inspired to get into it. I'm going to get another batch, assuming these are dead, and keep going. I'm going to listen here and see if I can hear them. Let me see if I can hear them. I don't hear anything in the big one. Let's see on this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're dead. This is the first bee I've seen, and it might have just been tucked back in there when I cleared things off. So I don't hear any buzzing, but who knows? We'll see. Well, thanks for coming on this beekeeping journey with me. It was the first week of April, so about a month from now. It's the first week of March now when I grabbed my first batch. But I think I'm going to wait till the end of April, early May, to get my next 2. By then, hopefully the snow is melted. I've moved the hives to my new half-acre behind us, and we'll start a new round of what I'm learning videos. So good luck if any of you who have started beekeeping, and let me know how it's going. See you guys. Buried in snow.